You've probably noticed it. For sale signs are popping up all over your street, right? There are open houses every weekend, and maybe even the neighbor that you thought would never move suddenly is packing up and packing their boxes. So, what's really going on here in Mississauga's real estate market right now? Is this a golden opportunity for buyers, or are sellers finally getting top dollar again? What's happening? Or is it the market is just kind of all over the place? So stick with me for the next few minutes because we're going to break down our local housing market here in Mississauga for the first quarter of 2025. I'm going to go over from January to February and March of this year, and trust me, it's been anything but boring. Hi everybody, welcome back. It's Maria Ho, and I run a real estate team here in Mississauga and the GTA. And if you learn anything new in this video, all I ask is make sure to give us a like and also get subscribed to our channel. You can also put in a call with myself or my team. My number is just here below. So let's get right into it and dive into the market trends and stats. As somebody who's been living here and working here in this vibrant city for more than 18 years, I really love peeling back the layers of our real estate trends to help you make sense of what's happening in neighborhoods in the local market, from Port Credit to East Credit to even Lisgar. Whether you're a first-time home buyer and you're thinking maybe a condo near Square One, or you may be a seller in Erin Mills and you're wondering if it's the right time to list, or if you're just curious and you're just a neighbor wanting to know the latest scoop on the market, this update is perfect for you. So my goal is to make this clear, engaging, personal. So let's get right into it. And if this resonates with you and if you find it helpful, please share it with a friend or a family. So let's look back. January of this year, we hit the ground running. Let me tell you, Mississauga's market was buzzing, almost like a Saturday morning in the Square One shopping mall. New listings exploded, soaring 158% from December and jumping from 421 homes to over 1,090 homes. That's a flood of options for buyers. And there were all kinds of properties on the market. And home sales also climbed up 20% with 346 properties sold, showing that plenty of people were ready to make the move, even with the winter cold. I remember we had tons of people come out to our open house second week of January. We had 6 offers bidding on our client's townhouse, sold within just a few days. And price-wise, things were looking up. The average home price in Mississauga in January rose 7%, with detached homes stealing kind of the spotlight at an average of just under 1.6 million from a year ago. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite the surge in listings and prices, the sales to new listing ratio, which is a key indicator of market heat, was only 32%. So this ratio is like a thermostat for real estate. Below 40% means we're in a buyer's market, which means there's more supply than demand, giving buyers the upper hand to negotiate. And that's what we're seeing. It's like, let's say, walking into a store with tons of inventory and you can take your time and you can even score a good deal. So January was pretty fascinating. It was like a mix of high prices, tons of listings, and buyers kind of holding the reins. If you were house hunting in places like Clarkson or Meadowvale, you probably felt the luxury of choice. I'd love to hear your January experience. Were you touring homes out there or were you listing your house? Drop me a comment below and let's swap stories. Now, February. So what happened? There was a bit of a shift in February. The market felt a bit like it was catching its breath after January sprint. Now, there was a noticeable slowdown, partly because of economic uncertainty. Everybody was talking about it. There were so many headlines about US tariffs and trade disruptions that was starting to make headwaves in February. And that kind of news can, kind of make people hesitate and put a pause. So in the GTA, home sales actually dropped 27% compared to February of last year, and Mississauga was not immune. New listings held pretty steady, 5% increase from February of last year. And the total number of homes available surged 76% year over year. That's a lot of homes sitting on the market. In terms of the average GTA selling price, it was $1,084,000, down 2% from last year. And Mississauga prices followed a very similar kind of softening trend. The sales to new listings ratio stayed about steady, 33%, keeping us pretty much in a buyer's market kind of territory. It was a golden opportunity for buyers. I remember speaking to, our clients, and they basically had lots of homes to look at, to choose from, and they can take their time and negotiate a price. Sellers, though, they needed some more patience because it takes a little bit longer now, and also more strategy in terms of upgrading their house and getting it ready. So condo sales in the GTA were still down 11% across the GTA. So if you own a condo in here, Ontario, or city center, you probably felt that shift. So what was your February like? Did you get a good deal in the market, or did you list your property and it took a little longer to sell? Share your story with me in the comments. I'd love to hear about your real life experiences. So then March, which was last month, that was a bit of a waiting game. Buyers acting a little bit like, more picky. They had more choices. So from mid-February to mid-March, Mississauga saw 1,638 new listings, and only 385 homes were sold during that time. So that gap tells us that buyers are more cautious, maybe even holding out for better deals. The average days on the market also ticked up to 24 days, and homes were selling at about 98% of the list price, which is pretty standard. So what we're seeing is that bigger homes, they're holding their value better, while smaller properties, especially like a one-bedroom condo, they're feeling the squeeze. That gap shows that buyers were being more selective, and they have more options. And with economic questions in the air, people are taking their time. So detached homes still held strong, and then condos and townhouses sat a bit longer on the market, especially in more competitive neighborhoods like City Centre and here, Ontario. So here you'll see on my screen the average sold prices in Mississauga. Detached house, you can see here just under 1.6. Semi-detached, just over $1 million. Freehold townhouse, 964, condo townhouses, and then condo apartments, 583,000. So you can see that right on my screen. So what's been really happening? Let's take a step back and talk about what's really behind these numbers, because what we're seeing in Mississauga is not just in Mississauga. It's part of a much larger picture, and understanding that helps us make smarter decisions, whether we're buying, selling, or investing. So one major force is definitely the economic uncertainty, the ongoing discussions around tariffs, especially all the proposed tariffs and all the back and forth. It made a lot of people feel nervous. It's like buying a new car and then suddenly gas prices are expected to skyrocket. You're going to pause. And that's what a lot of buyers are doing right now. They're just holding off to see what happens next. And then there's the interest rate. So the Bank of Canada just announced this week that they're holding. They already did 7 consecutive cuts since June of last year. They're holding the rate steady at 2.75 right now, which is a welcome news. But let's be honest, they're still pretty high compared to the near zero rates that we saw just a few years ago. So that means that higher monthly payments, it's tighter affordability, especially for first-time home buyers. So affordability is still one of the biggest challenges that we're facing in our market right now. Inventory is another big part of the story. We saw a huge surge in listings, up 76% in February and then continuing into March. So that's created a true buyer's market where supply is outpacing demand. It's a great time to buy because you can take your time, you can compare different houses, you can negotiate on the price, get a really good deal, you can negotiate on your terms. Pretty much all the offers that we're seeing right now have the standard home inspection and finance conditions. And it's really interesting because this is a type of balanced market that we haven't seen in the GTA for almost 20 years. And it's a more fair, I would say, playing field for both buyers and sellers. And yet, because of the news and the media, so many people are still on the sidelines with a wait and see approach. And it has a lot to do with consumer confidence, right? Which is still very real. And that's influenced by global economic and geopolitical headlines. And many people are facing uncertainty also about their job, right? And many businesses are not hiring, they're also putting things on hold. And I think that once we pass the federal election at the end of April, and we have a new prime minister here and new government policies, that's going to help us to have a clearer picture how we're going to navigate this economic uncertainty. And then we should see people move off of the sidelines and start to make their moving plans again during the warmer months, as we all do here in Canada, right? That's just us Canadians. We move when it's warm. So what's the big takeaway from the first 3 months of this year? What we saw at the beginning of January, it was a real surge in terms of activity. Lots of listings, rising prices. There was a real momentum. And then February and March, that reminded us that this market is still navigating a lot of uncertainty. So right now, we're pretty much bang smack in a buyer's market, which is more opportunity for people who are ready to buy. And then for those who are thinking of selling, they have to be really prepared and very strategic with their pricing. Now, all in all, what I'm seeing is there's still a lot of demand. A lot of people are tired of waiting. And with interest rates having come down and prices are softer, there's a lot of pent-up demand of people who want to and need to move. And similar, I feel like at the beginning of the pandemic, which started in 2020, people were frozen for a little while at first. And then as soon as there were government loans programs and super low interest rates, the real estate market just took off and hit record high levels. Now, I'm not saying that we're going to go through that crazy period again, but a similar pattern could happen. We don't know. Right after the election, once people have more clarity and more confidence and feel more comfortable to move forward, we could see things jumpstart more all over again. And you know what's really keeping Mississauga so resilient is all of us. This city is a gem. We're so close to Toronto with everything from affordable entry points, condos, to luxury living. We have a strong sense of community, a great lifestyle that's so hard to beat. And that's what continues to attract home buyers here and people moving here, even during market shifts. And as somebody who's lived here and worked in Mississauga for nearly 2 decades, I'm so proud of how the city continues to grow, evolve, and adapt. And whether you're thinking of upsizing to a newer subdivision like in Churchill Meadows, or you want to move to a more convenient neighborhood near Heartland Town Centre or Erin Mills, or you're buying your very first condo near Square One, there is a place here for you here in Mississauga. So what's your next move? Are you thinking of maybe listing your house and moving somewhere else? Are you wondering if it's the right time to jump into the market? And you're wondering what to do before making such a decision? Drop me your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and connect with you. And if you're looking for advice, reach out anytime. My contact information is in the description, and I'm always happy to have a conversation and help. Again, thank you so much for watching today, and I'm going to see you in the next video.